You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hey there, B&B fans. It's Belinda from Soap Dirt. And Thomas Forrester just dropped a bombshell on Hope Logan. And I suspect word will spread, even though he spoke to her in confidence in the privacy of her little cabin. So who overhears and blows this whole Emma thing out of the water? We're going to talk about it all, but please click subscribe if you haven't. Okay, so the conversation with Thomas and Hope that started Friday the 12th resumes on Monday, January 15th. To his credit, Thomas lays it all on the line for Hope. He seems to think that their relationship is so rock solid that it can bear the weight of the truth about what he did that night when he chased Emma Barber and she wound up dead. But then on Tuesday, January 16th, official spoilers say Hope goes to her mother, Brooke Logan, with her concerns. While I don't think Hope will unpack all of this for Brooke, she does tell her mom, according to the official spoilers, that she has some issues about Thomas's past. And you know, Brooke is going to latch onto that like it's a golden ticket to the chocolate factory. I mean, Brooke will grasp at anything that could drive a wedge between Hope and Thomas and get him out of her daughter's life. So that's problem number one. But I suspect Thomas and Hope have a bigger issue, and that's someone finding out about his confession. Right now, only Ridge and Thomas and Hope know the full truth. Not Xander, not by a long shot, and definitely not Finn and not Steffi, because Thomas skirted everything when he talked to Steffi. So, you know, on B&B, how everybody likes to stand around talking in a nice loud voice about things that they're trying to keep secret. So I anticipate we could have more of that to come. Like, for instance, you remember when the conspirators were trying to keep the baby Beth secret, Zoe and Xander were talking about it in a room at Forrester Creations. They weren't concerned about privacy, and that's how Emma found out. And there's been a ton of secrets that spilled out on Bold because somebody was listening through a crack in the door of the Forrester Creations CEO office. That happens more times than I can even count. People on this soap like to repeat things over and over and over in the dumbest of places until someone inevitably overhears. And while no official spoilers confirm that they're overheard, I feel like that's where that's heading. Maybe not this week, maybe next week, but soon. Clearly, the truth of that night is going to come out to a lot of people. And I'll say it again, Thomas did behave very badly, but it was not murder. And any laws he broke, the statute of limitations expired already. It's 3 years in California. If the soap was using actual facts as a basis for plots, they don't always, sometimes they do. Only rape and real, not accidental murder are excluded from that 3-year statute of limitations. So nonetheless, I feel like the whole truth will roll out, and what Thomas did that night will become common knowledge. And of course, Brooke will use that to try and force Hope to dump Thomas, while also, telling Ridge his son is awful and a killer and all that. But the thing is, Ridge has known all of this since 2019, almost 5 years now. Ridge has known the whole truth. Thomas told him everything back then. Every single thing, that he followed her, that he was speeding behind her, driving too close, trying to get her to pull over and talk by honking and flashing his lights. Of course, Emma didn't know it was Thomas behind her. She thought it was just some random aggressive driver. Remember, Thomas was nowhere in sight when she hopped into her car and peeled out of the Forrester Creations lot, because Pam had cornered Thomas in the CEO office and Emma slipped out, ran away. Pam was asking him these inane questions about cupcakes for a party. So Emma thought she got clean away from Thomas. And when headlights are in your window, you know this, you can't see who's in the car behind you. All you can see are the blinding lights. So Emma was trying to get to Hope fast. She thought someone was just being a jerk behind her. She was upset. She was messing with her phone off and on. She was driving too fast on a curvy road at night, and tragedy ensued. And as Thomas said to Ridge back then, no one could have survived that accident. And in truth, we saw on screen, she died moments after crashing. So there's some bizarre stuff I've seen in the comments here. And on other soap social media, some people were saying Thomas went down into the ravine, looked into the window, saw her dead or dying, and laughed and walked away. People, that simply did not happen. None of that happened. He stopped his car. He stood at the top of the ravine. It was this dark night. They had the fog machine going. There was all this fog around him. He definitely looked very sinister. He looked down at the wreckage of the car and he kind of smirked and he turned and walked away. He never got near the car. And yes, awful, awful behavior. And he didn't call 911, which he should have done, but legally not required to do under California law. Terrible behavior, no doubt about it. Murder, I don't think so. Manslaughter at the worst, but not even that because he never laid a hand on her. His car never touched hers. It's a very messy situation and there's not a clear charge. And short of murder, those charges are out of the statute anyway. There is no justice to be had for Emma under the legal system. Not really, not at this point. All right, let's stick to the facts. He didn't stare at her through the window and laugh as she died. None of that happened. But I'm sure in Xander's mind and in Brooke's mind, that is how it went down. And now in Finn's mind too. And I fully expect that Thomas and Hope will continue discussing this at work in rooms where the doors aren't closed and somebody's going to overhear. So let's talk about who eavesdrops on them. Here's what happens and where it could go. For instance, Steffi could overhear and realize Thomas didn't tell her the truth. Knowing Steffi, though, she'd just go right in, confront them, rage at her brother, but I don't think she'd tell Finn. I do think she would protect Thomas. As for Brooke, if she overheard, she would definitely tell everyone that has ears. And I think she'd also run to Ridge to share the proof, and I'm doing quote fingers, that Thomas is wicked and a killer. But then Ridge will have to have that awkward, oh yeah, I've kind of known that for years conversation, which I'm sure she will blow up about. If Liam overhears it, oh my gosh, he'll probably have his daddy publish an article in one of their magazines or papers. He hates Thomas and may think publicly shaming the guy could get Hope to break up with him. Given how much Brad Bell loves shoving RJ and Luna in our faces, one of them could overhear and then they'd run the info back to one of RJ's parents, Ridge who knows, and Brooke who would love to know. And if Katie or Donna hear it, of course, they'd run to Brooke with it. I feel like no matter who overhears it, if it's not Brooke personally, whoever it is will probably run to Brooke because of Hope. That way she can protect her daughter from Thomas, who, of course, she's certain is ready to axe murder her kid in her sleep. So was it the right thing for Thomas to confess to Hope? Yes. Has he changed since the night he did those dark deeds? Not immediately, but long term. I think he has changed significantly since his brain surgery. But Brad Bell really only likes Logan and Logan offspring to have nice things like RJ getting a beach house this week when his cousin Zende is basically couch surfing. You know, in the end, I kind of feel like Hope will stand by her man. Despite some hatred aimed at Thope, they are unquestionably a source of ratings boost. I have done a deep dive into ratings when they go up and down. And when they're on, the ratings go up. They also have a huge fan base. Brad Bell may want to step carefully before he burns them completely down, if that is his plan. But yeah, I kind of see that everyone is going to find out what Thomas did that night, and then it's going to be a big, big soapy mess. All right, what do you think? Will Thomas and Hope be overheard when they keep discussing Emma's fate at the office? Will everyone at Forrester Creations soon know about the true chain of events that happened the night she died? And will it break up Thomas and Hope? Let me know what you guys think. Drop your comments. Please click subscribe if you haven't, and definitely come back soon. We are here talking Bold and the Beautiful 7 days a week. And as always, it's Belinda from Soap Dirt.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.